Today's video is travel talk. I know some of you people are going on trips to like Pennsylvania and other places across the northeastern part of the United States, which is the birthplace of America. According to the internet, Philadelphia has a lot of tourism where people are visiting to see all sorts of sites where the Declaration of Independence was signed. They also have the Liberty Bell. I don't know if I've ever seen the Liberty Bell or the Declaration of Independence before. Philadelphia is a kind of a very dangerous city to visit because you might get shot by criminals or get stabbed. That's why the suburbs is a good place to visit. When my mom took me to Philadelphia growing up, the only place I went to is Springfield because that's the hometown where my grandfather used to live. I don't know if Delaware County in Pennsylvania has 250 years of history. When I was growing up, I never learned much about American history while we went to Philadelphia. The only thing I learned are trains. Trains are basically the culture in Pennsylvania. Well, yeah, for example, like Strasburg. I'm going to talk about Strasburg later on in the video. I don't know if you've ever been to many historical museums in Philadelphia that dates back to the Revolutionary War. I think we probably went to like historical sites of the American Revolution or something like that, like historical battlefields that dates back on 200 years ago. That used to be really fun, don't you think, to visit all these historical sites to learn about the story of our country? And basically, it's kind of interesting that Philadelphia has the Liberty Bell and the Declaration of Independence was signed there, even though my mom never took me to the city because the city's too dangerous. The only city I went to was New York City. Well, everybody knows New York City. Stuart Little, Spider-Man, and what other movies can you think of, say, in New York City? Just Spider-Man, Men in Black, Stuart Little, and Ghostbusters. That's all. I don't think New York City's that interesting anyway. You can watch movies about New York. You don't have to go to New York City in real life. I don't think there's anything good in New York anyways. If I do want to come back to Philadelphia, I definitely want to visit some American historical sites. Because when my mom took me to Philadelphia, we only visited my grandfather, hang out in his house for a while, and play with my family members, played with my cousins and my grandfather's dog. It's a shame that my grandfather never took me to any historical sites in Philadelphia. We did go to a shopping mall, which includes that train store, which includes a lot of toy trains, and the TV was playing Thomas the Tank Engine on it. Back in those days, when I was a little kid, Thomas the Tank Engine was a really popular TV show, but I don't know any kids my age who saw that TV show because I don't really know how to make friends with people. I was a very quiet kid, but sometimes it caused a lot of trouble and throw a lot of tantrums sometimes. I'm too close to my mom and dad a lot because my mom's a really fun person to play with. But it's not that fun anymore because my mom wants to focus on boring school stuff. Well, my only family member who live in Pennsylvania is my mom's baby sister. She's not very nice to my mom, but she also has 3 kids who are kind of nothing but trouble. That's why my mom doesn't want me to take me back to Philadelphia. It would be kind of cool to see the visit like Independence Hall to learn about American history. That would be kind of cool. Because in Las Vegas, Nevada, we have nothing around here, just hotels and casinos and desert. That's all we have around here. But the Springs Preserve is definitely a good place to visit if you want to learn more about the story of our country. So is the Clark County Museum located in Henderson, Nevada. The Mob Museum is a good place to visit if you want to learn more about criminals in the United States of America because gangsters are kind of like the culture of our country. Gangsters are like one of the worst people to exist in this country. They cause way too much trouble, but they were responsible for building the casino industry in Las Vegas. In Los Angeles, California, we have a bunch of art museums, and that's kind of boring. Who cares about art and paintings? I want to see some like objects. It's a good thing I went to New Orleans a couple of years ago. They have this one museum, like that one museum that talks about the Battle of New Orleans from a long time ago. That was a cool place to visit to learn more about American history is New Orleans. Except New Orleans was a Spanish colonial city at that time, but it was founded by the French first, and then Spain took over it, and they returned New Orleans back to the French. And New Orleans became a part of the United States of America because France has sold their colonies to the Americans because America wants to expand their territory. Plus, France is losing all their money because of the War of Napoleon. So Napoleon is bankrupt because of the war he was having against other European countries. Do you guys know Colorado is celebrating its 150th birthday? It's a good thing my dad and I went there to see the trains in Durango and Silverton. It was really cool to visit. To ride those narrow gauge trains in America. Narrow gauge trains are not very common here in the United States, but they're only in Colorado and Durango. It's actually based on those famous railroads in Great Britain where the engineer went to during a trip and decided to bring British tactics to America and Colorado. Are there any historical sites you can visit in New York City that represents our country? In case some of you guys don't know, New York City was the first capital city of the United States, even though the country's independence was founded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Independence Hall by the four founding fathers. So it's interesting that my mom was born in the city where the Declaration of Independence was signed. She was born in the land of freedom. I never learned that stuff as a little kid. The only thing I know about Philadelphia are trains. And chocolate, like Hershey's chocolate, and trains. That's the culture of Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. I want to know if Delaware County has 250 years of American history. What's the history of Delaware County in Pennsylvania? Did they have battlefields during the American Revolution? It's more like a suburban county of Philadelphia, where my mom grew up in. My mom used to attend a Roman Catholic school, and she used to hang out with her friends all the time. Do I have any friends in Las Vegas and LA? Not really. I have dreams of meeting British people. I wish I could meet British people someday. But the problem is, when my mom took me to London when I was 9, I only hang out with my family members way too much. I was being dragged like a dog. I always had dreams of meeting French people, but the French language sounds kind of girly and stupid. I don't think Paris is the type of city I want to visit. It's kind of interesting that the French were kind of like America's first allies against the British. My mom also took me to Boston, Massachusetts. There's a lot of history over there, like all sorts of cool battlefields of guys dressing in funny outfits, and Paul Revere used to run around Boston, Massachusetts. Boston is actually home to many famous colleges in the United States of America, where many U.S. presidents attended a long time ago. One of my mom's college friends live in Boston, Massachusetts. My mom and her friends used to attend Smith College in Massachusetts. I don't know if Smith College was actually established back in colonial times. It's actually a famous women's college in Massachusetts. It's kind of interesting that my mom used to attend a women's college because, not to attend like a co-ed college where boys and girls are together, she just wants to be in a college full of all women and girls and stuff like that. Well, my mom used to go to an all-girls school because she doesn't want to interact with boys. Maybe her parents are afraid she cannot interact with boys and only hang out with girls her own age. Because if she interacts with boys, there might be trouble. It would prevent her from getting pregnant, of course. She has to meet a guy until she gets married. My mom did have a few boyfriends growing up. Do I have any girlfriends? Not really. I have dreams of meeting a British girl. I wish I could, but it's too bad I can't go to England anymore. I'm stuck in Las Vegas, Nevada, and Los Angeles, California. I don't know if there's any interesting girls living in Las Vegas or LA. I'm too culture shocked about my trip to Paris and London. I think my trip to London and Paris is kind of like an accident. And when I was 9 years old, if I can't go to London and Paris, I can stay home in Los Angeles and watch PBS Kids shows all day long to learn more about America and how to make friends with American kids. The only TV shows I watched was Thomas the Tank Engine. I don't think Thomas the Tank Engine teaches you anything. It's nothing but a TV show about trains. I know it's cute, but it's one of the worst TV shows ever existed. It's not educational. Sesame Street's pretty educational. Mr. Rogers sort of, but Arthur is extremely educational. I never got a chance to watch it because the other kid in my house was watching Arthur. It's a freaking boys' TV show, for God's sakes. Why would a girl be watching a TV show for boys anyway? It doesn't make any sense. They have a couple girl characters like DW, she's a girl. But I want to watch Arthur because it looks like a boys' TV show, but they have a couple girl characters in it. But it's the type of show I could watch by myself as a little kid.